Aloha, my love, and welcome to Lemuria Rose Temple. I am Celeste Glus, and today I'm going to share with you what I often get asked, which is how do I connect with my feminine? Like, especially because I live in the New York area. And so the women that are in this area are like, I need my feminine energy. What do I do right now to connect to that? And so there's a bazillion things we can do. And that's really my work, is to support you in returning to this sacred feminine wisdom and frequency that is oh so nourishing, regenerative, and magnetic. And before we go into all of those wormholes, because they really are, and it's a way of being connecting to your feminine. I like to say you're never disconnected from your feminine. And it may feel that way because we have a modern lifestyle and we're running around everywhere, maybe. And it's like saying, you know, when it's a cloudy day, it's like, how do I connect to the sun? Well, the sun is there. The sun hasn't left. It's just you're missing the warmth. Let's just put it that way. So, if you're here, you want to connect with your feminine, I'm going to give you three really easy ways to do it. And it's going to be more based on my Lemurian frequency because there's a bazillion ways you can do this, but this is what I have found to me that has worked instantly, and that's really simple. And it's really going to shift a lot because it has on the physical, it's like, that's it. That's all you want me to do. But the ripple effect, it affects our hormones, it affects our sleep cycle, which hence affects our appetite and our libido and all of these trickle effects that we're like, just by doing that, I get all of that. It's like, yeah, that's how the feminine works, my love. So welcome into the world of the feminine. Sit your booty into a nice little comfy chair, unless you're taking a walk or you're like me, you like to listen to YouTube while you're working out. Anyway, let's get into it. So first and foremost, sound. Oh, dear sound and Lemurian rose lineage. Sound, my love. Sound brings us back to frequency. Okay. And frequency is the name of the game. Frequency is the universe. Frequency is creation. Frequency is everything. I'm sure you've heard this in the past. You shift your frequency, you shift how you feel, you shift how you think, and then you shift how you're moving about through the world. So, when we shift the sound that we're surrounded by, we see, here's the thing, sound is quantum. Sound can travel into spaces that other senses and other things cannot. So the way that I work with sound is there's just so many ways. I'm going to keep this really simple because we can go deeper. But um, by the way, if sound calls you, that's part of the light bearer path inside the Sophia school. And that light bearer is when we're called toward the light, the higher frequency, and we work with the technology of sound. Okay. So, yes, I can go on about this forever, but sound, headphones, use your headphones on Spotify. Here's the thing, technology is amazing. It could be our best friend or it could be our worst advocate. I'm not even sure if that's the right word, but what you listen to is permeating. It's like an ocean wave. It's permeating into your cells. It's especially going into your subconscious. And from your subconscious, you're creating thought patterns, which then affect the way you see reality, affect the way that you're communicating, affect the way that you're thinking, affect the way that you're feeling. So I would say the cleanest, the easiest thing is notice what you're already listening to. Are you listening to a lot of radio, pop music, news, TV? Those things, not not really supportive of anything, but let's just call it not supportive of the sacred feminine energy that you are wanting to connect to. So balance that out. Notice, are you spending too much time on social media and listening too much of that? Notice the frequency of the people's voices that you listen to. That's something that has kind of attuned through time for me. But when you resonate with someone's voice or don't resonate with someone's voice, pay attention because that's vibration speaking to you at a very deep level. Um, so let's keep it at that because I can see myself going on to a tangent. So, sound, I would say listen to music that makes you feel really good. And it's not just about feeling good, because let's just example when I'm working out, I'm listening to like high energy music, but that's not what I'm listening to when I'm at home and in my creative energy or in other places of my life, because I know that that's like telling my nervous system and my body, like, let's go, let's move, go stronger, breathe deeper, That's not the energy I want. So it's not just about feeling good, it's about what kind of sound will be regenerative and nourishing to your mind, body, spirit. Um, just a few examples. You can play with them, feel what feels good or not. But frequency music is by far probably the best thing you can listen to. There's no words. So when you can listening to things that have no words, that is closest to what we want to get to. And I'm not saying all day, you don't have to listen to that stuff all day, but it's really supportive because you're not technically putting things into your subconscious and you're giving your body a space to receive and be. Now, you can listen to frequency music, you can listen to instrumental music. I work a lot with sound and instruments. So, even instruments in themselves, especially specific kinds of instruments, just depending on what frequency you want to receive, is really, really supportive, and it tunes our body, it harmonizes our body. And that's really what I want to get to in terms of sound is we want to create harmony. We want to harmonize mind, body, spirit to the point where we can like drop in. And we don't have to we could just be, and we are dropped in. And the sound in our environment, in our immediate environment, in our mental environment will dictate a lot of how you feel. Okay. So that's number one. Notice the sound in your life, start to arrange it, consciously create choices around sound that will benefit you, that will harmonize your mind, body, spirit. Okay. That will allow your mind chatter to zip, drop, and breathe. Mm. And before I forget, if you want to go deeper into this kind of stuff, tapping into your feminine energy, check out my free course on my website, Feminine Foundations. It's a few simple tips to basically create a foundation in your life of daily habits and a way of being that supports us in creating the literal foundations that are required for the feminine wisdom to start moving through us. So it's a free course. It's stuff that really we all need. And if we begin to implement it, it's practices that will be with us for a lifetime. I promise you, they're never ending. Okay. So next one. I have two more. Light. Okay. If you know about Lemuria, if you're called to Lemuria, you know the importance of light. Okay. So light has many functions. I'm going to keep my focus on connecting to our feminine energy. So, um, very practically, blue light is crap, and blue light is everywhere, and blue light is very draining to our energy field. When I first started to awaken and I had my Akash open and all of these things, I became highly, highly, highly sensitive to light and sound. And through the years, I've been able to reincorporate myself into society so as to not be completely overwhelmed. But light makes a big difference. And the kind of light that's in our field can be very, very draining. That's why this whole movement of blue light glasses is a thing. It does make a huge difference whether you want to know that logically or not. The light that's coming into your energy field, but also the light that we're receiving. So, again, in that light bearer path within the Sophia School, we talk about working with natural sunlight as a way to regenerate our cells, to turn on our genome, our DNA, and really just to work with light, because light is consciousness. Is consciousness. And when we have distorted light coming into us, it's going to affect our hormones, our sleeping patterns, our eating patterns, our mental health, our emotional health. I mean, I'm telling you, I feel a huge difference. Real quick, when I go into the city, when I go into Manhattan, there's a bombardment of light. And once there's sunset, my husband is literally like, put on your blue light glasses. I don't want to hear it. Because it's like, if I'm not wearing them, there are literal repercussions. And it's just a reminder of, yes, we have these things in our modern day world. We have to work with them. So if you know that you work in a corporate environment, if you know that you're inside an office, if you know that you're at home, don't use artificial light to the best of your ability. Okay. Don't walk around in the dark and stumble on things. But if you can use candlelight, using this will be the last part of the light. Using candlelight is, I even like just thinking about it, it's so soothing. And think about why societies and communities have gathered around the fire. Of course, for the practical reasons of what fire does for us as a community, it helps to cook, it creates light, like all these things. But sitting with a candle at any time of day, but ideally before sunrise or after sunset, is extremely soothing to our energy field and starts to awaken something in our energy bodies, which really gets us familiar. It drops us into our sacred feminine. And here's the thing. These are things that are like, this is just what you do. This is not something you're going to do once. And it's like, I'm connected to my feminine. Like, that's it, right? It's like when you really drop into that frequency, you're like, oh my God, I've arrived. Like, I just want to be here, right? That's the feeling of the feminine. When you're held by that feminine energy, you're like, I don't want to leave. I'm here. I'm staying here, right? So find a moment in time where you can light a candle and just sit with it. And I'll let you play from that point on. Okay? All right. If you want to explore deeper, again, check out the Sophia School, the Light Bearer Path. All right. Last one is ritual. The last tip is ritual. And I want to make this one really simple because I think we've overdone ritual in our society. It's like, do all of these things and with the moonlight and you know ritual is an experience that happens from the inside out. And it's something that ritual is required for us to keep sanity in this world. And of course, when we're in ritual, it drops us into our feminine because ritual opens a dimension of quantum possibility, of magic, of letting the external density just drop down a few notches and allowing the internal light force to like totally light up and peak itself out. And it's like, I'm here. That's ritual. Ritual is being so deeply connected to your breath that you become the ritual. Now, do I have an altar? Do I recommend having altars and working with the moon? And of course, all of those things are beautiful, and they serve a purpose, and they anchor us into this physical realm, and they help us with ritual, of course. But I'm trying to give you the most practical tips so that you know that all of sound, light, and ritual you can literally do. You could be driving your car and be tapping into these things. That's what I really wanted to give you, which no one really ever gave me. It was like, oh, you want to tap into your feminine? Well, you have to dance ecstatically and you have to do all these things. And it's like, really? So I have to wait until the end of the day when I have some time, maybe at night, after all. That's a lot of work. And I'm down to it for it. I mean, I grew up as a dancer. I love dancing, but there are much, you know, there's a lot of practices that a lot of people do that never actually anchor them into the sacred feminine. So just remember that when you connect to your feminine energy, uh, it really is a sensation that arises from the inside, and it's a way of being and feeling and holding a frequency and an energy. And so I hope that these three principles and these three tips are just simple enough that you can have them on the go. And this is what I'm learning, especially coming back after living in Hawaii, coming back to Manhattan, coming back to New York area. It's like, yeah, I can't be dancing every day for 30 minutes or like, no, not gonna work. So I need to do something that's very yesterday, right? So I hope that these tips have helped you. I have a bazillion more. If you are interested in going deeper on this path, come meet me inside the Sophia School. We do a lot of this work within the 4 different archetypes. Make sure to take the free quiz. It will tell you which archetype to start with inside the school, or just take the free Feminine Foundations course found on the website. It'll be a pop-up banner, or it'll be inside the free tab, and take the course and start there and start to implement these practices that are lifelong practices inside that course. Lastly, I am hosting a women's Lemurian retreat in Hawaii this September. So if that calls to you, I would love to hear from you. Going to Hawaii to me was a huge anchoring on my spiritual journey, because my spiritual journey became so disembodied by different things that I've experienced. Coming back into the feminine principles and then really anchoring into the land of Hawaii and anchoring into the energy of Lemuria has supported a tremendous grounding and merging of this work. So if that calls you, I would love to hear from you. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Send you many, many, many rose blessings. Mwah.